book lovers, it is G-Swizz here, and I am here today with a very long overdue book haul. It's been a very long time since I've done a book haul. It would have been at least 3 months ago. These are all the books that I've accumulated between my last book haul and this book haul because I am really bad at doing monthly hauls because I'm always afraid that I'm not gonna have enough to talk about in a monthly haul, but then I have too much to talk about in my occasional hauls. As I'm filming this is my first day back from my VidCon adventures. That was seriously amazing, and I did really save up for that trip so that I could buy books, and I wanted to save this book haul for after my Melbourne trip. Then I realized how many other books that I had accumulated before that time. I guess that's pretty funny as well. But I guess I'm gonna stop rambling, and without further ado, let's get on to talking about these books. So I got sent this many books from publishers in the time in between my last haul and this haul. The first 5 books in the stack were sent to me unsolicited, and then the last 3 were books that I requested for review. First one being the new cover edition of Open Road Summer by Emery Lord. I was sent this book from Bloomsbury. Thank you so much, Bloomsbury. This is so beautiful, and it matches the other UK/Australian editions of Emery Lord's books. I'm really excited about this one. I'm happy that I have it. Next, I was sent Imposters by Scott Westerfeld from Allen and Unwin. Thank you so much, Allen and Unwin. I haven't read the Ugly series yet, and this is a spin-off to the Ugly series, so I kind of do want to read the Ugly series first. I mean, you don't have to if you don't want to, but I want to. So I need to read Uglies, and then I can get to this one. I mean, that's just the standard I'm setting for myself, but it is what it is. Another book I got from Allen and Unwin was The Amateurs by Sarah Shepard. I got this at the YA Fan Fest night, and they were giving out books in goodie bags. I had 2 books in my goodie bag, and one of them I didn't like. I just decided to unhaul that one a second time, but I decided to keep this one. Hopefully I do like this one. This series has mixed reviews, and Sarah Shepard is the author of Pretty Little Liars. I never got into that, never watched the TV show, never read the books, but I'm pretty curious about this one. And then these next 2 books were sent to me from Penguin Teen Australia. Thank you so much, Penguin Teen Australia, for sending me Inside the Tiger by Hayley Lawrence, and then finally Just Breathe by Andrew Dado. Pretty sure that both of these are Australian YA novels, and I don't really know anything about them, but if I'm in the mood to read an Australian novel or just read something new, I've got some. So thank you so much, Penguin Teen, for sending me these. And now let's get on to the books I was sent for review. We've got Grace and Fury by Tracy Banghart. I've already posted my spoiler-free review if you guys want to go check that out. We also have an arc of Mirage by Samaya Dowd. Yes, I've read this book and I haven't reviewed it on my channel yet. I should have filmed that instead of filming this, but look where we are. And finally, it's about time that I got sent this book. I literally got sent it, I think, the day before I left for Melbourne. It came late. I had no idea it was still gonna be sent to me because I never got a reply. I thought that they weren't gonna send review copies out for the book, but alas, they did. I got sent a review copy of Catwoman Soul Stealer by Sarah J Maas. I'm seriously so excited about this because Sarah J Maas is writing about an anti-hero, and I'm all for it. Next of all, I will be talking about the stack of comics that I've accumulated, and every single one of them I accumulated at Melbourne for half price because of slight damage. I was like, shut up and take my money. You guys, you wouldn't believe what I found in the bargain bin. I found Saga volumes 4, 5, and 6 in the bargain bin. So I already own volumes 1 to 3, but I don't own volumes 4 to 5, and I haven't actually started the series. But I got a bunch of volumes. Every single one of the volumes I've purchased for Saga, I made sure I purchased them on sale, and it's worked every single time. Because I'm pretty sure the first 3 volumes I purchased were like 20% off, and these were 50% off, so I'm not mad. I haven't paid full price for a single Saga volume. And another comic book trade paperback that I was actually actively looking for when I went to the bookstore, and then I saw it in a half price bargain bin, was Motor Crush Volume 2. Pretty sure I read Motor Crush Volume 1 a year ago, and I thought it was pretty cool. It has a really cool art style and a very unique concept. I didn't know when or where Volume 2 was, and then I found out that Volume 2 came out recently, so I needed to find it somewhere. I was going to a comic book store, so I was looking for it. The full retail price was like $28. I wasn't too sure whether I wanted to get it there or just get it online or something like that, and then boom, it was half price in the bargain bin. I had to purchase. And the final 2 comic books I have to show you in this haul are the first 2 volumes in this series called FBP, which stands for the Federal Bureau of Physics. First of all, the covers intrigued me. But second of all, then I read the title and I was like, what? That is a crazy concept. And they were also super cheap because they were half price in the bargain bin. So that was when I decided that I was gonna give these a go. Like, it wouldn't hurt if I at least purchased these first 2 volumes half price, because if I was to go back to Sydney and finally have big interest in reading these when I could have purchased them for half price back in Melbourne, that would have been devastating for me. So I decided to not throw away my shot, Hamilton reference, and purchased both of these right there and then. And the next book I have to haul is the one poetry collection that I accumulated during this time, and that is The Beautiful Composition of the Broken by R.H. Sin. Now, I've always wanted to read R.H. Sin's poetry, and now I finally have a poetry collection from them. And I really wanted to pick this one up in particular because the title really did intrigue me. But it was really funny because I received this in the mail when I was just doing okay and I didn't feel broken. And now that I am going through a kind of like broken season, I think that this is more relevant. So I definitely do feel like I need to get to this one ASAP because there are some modern poetry collections out there that are perfect for specific seasons, and I'm hoping that this one is relevant to mine. It took a long time to save up for each and every one of these books, and then I finally got to the period where I could afford to buy all these books. I was so scared that all of these editions were going to go out of print because the first book out of the series actually did go out of print. And I was kind of pretty sad about it, but the good thing was I purchased it off of eBay. Even though it's secondhand, it's still in good condition. And the book series I'm talking about is the Talon series by Julie Kagawa. That is right, I have all of these beautiful books in hardback, and the really sad thing is that this hardback is out of print, but I got it off of eBay, so like I'm not mad about that at all. What I love about each and every one of these covers is that they have such a unique texture to them, and that's kind of really why I wanted to purchase these editions of them so bad. I was finally able to, but no joke, for the longest time I couldn't buy any books. In fact, I'm pretty sure that in August I was on a book buying ban that I just didn't tell you guys about because I didn't haul for a while, so it didn't really matter. Yeah, that was the case when I think about it. The next book I have to mention in my haul is a sequel to a book that I read ages ago, and I needed to purchase the sequel. I just wanted to finish off the duology because I'm curious as to how it ends. And it's so funny because it's been such a long time since I read the first book, and it's actually been such a long time since I received this book in the mail. And that, my friends, is Blood of a Thousand Skies by Rhoda Belleza. This is the sequel to Empress of a Thousand Skies. Pretty sure we read Empress of a Thousand Skies by Rhoda Belleza like a year and a half ago for the Biblio Squad, so this needs to happen. Another kind of sequel I have to mention on this list today is My Plain Jane by Cynthia Hand, Brody Ashton, and Jodie Meadows. And the funniest thing about this purchase is that I haven't even read My Lady Jane, but I still purchased this anyway. I don't even know if I'm gonna like the series. I just really like the covers. Wow, that's so shallow of me. Another book I have to haul is A Girl Like That by Tanaz Bahatena. I don't even know how to pronounce that. Wow. I've heard a lot of great things about this book, but it was on sale. I literally purchased this hardback for like 13 bucks. That was self-explanatory, as well as the fact that it just has so many rave reviews from people that I trust. I had to get it because of that. The next 3 books I have to mention today are books that were sent to me as bookish wishes. If you guys were not aware, there was a hashtag going around on Twitter like a month ago, and it happened to go around the month that I was giving up buying books because I literally couldn't afford them. I was really struggling financially. And the purpose of the hashtag was literally being able to share your love for reading with everyone by gifting somebody a book. And I got gifted 3 books, and I'm so thankful for them. That is also why I'm going to take this time out to shout them out. First book I received as a bookish wish was Study in Charlotte by Brittany Cavallero. This is a secondhand copy, but it's in perfect condition. I also had this book from Camille at Mills Likes Books on Twitter. Thank you so much, Camille. I am so happy that I finally have this book. I've wanted this book for years, and hopefully I like it so much that I will read the rest of the series. This honestly just made my heart full. Thank you so much, Camille. And the next bookish wish that was granted was The Poet X by Elizabeth Acevedo, and I was sent this by Jess Watkins at Snowglobe10 on Twitter. Thank you so much for sending this book to me. I am honestly so ecstatic that I have this book. I've heard nothing but great things about it. It is told in verse and poetry. I can add these to my haul! What was I saying? I've heard a lot of great things about this. It follows a Latina protagonist, which is really cool. It is also told in verse and poetry, which, if you didn't know, is one of my favorite formats to kind of like follow thanks to modern poetry at the moment. I cannot wait. Thank you so much, Jess, for sending me this. I'm eternally grateful. Finally, the last bookish wish that was granted was of a book that I finally read, and I love this book so much. I'm so thankful to Hannah over at the channel Hannah Books and Other Things for sending me this book. I love this book so much, and I don't think I would have read it as soon as I possibly could if it wasn't for her. I'm so thankful to her. Thank you so much, Hannah, for sending me this book, and that is The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. There's hype for this book left, right, and center here in the booktube community. I was pretty intimidated by the hype, but at the same time, I couldn't afford to buy the book for the longest time, so I wanted to read the book, but I couldn't. I didn't have access to it, and it wasn't even in Australian bookstores, and I got gifted it. I was honestly so excited excited once I got the message of Hannah just being like, hey, do you want a copy? I'm still so excited as to the fact that I received it and I read it, and it was really good. It's one of my faves this year. It's definitely a really good book. I do recommend this book, and I do have to say it is definitely worth the hype. Thank you so much, Hannah, for giving me this book, and thank you so much to every single person that gave me a book swish. So thankful and so appreciative that you guys really did look after me in that time that I was struggling financially. And I can't say as of the moment that I'm fully financially stable, but I'm definitely doing better now. So I also have to give a big shout out to the people that have been praying for me. I love you. So I got sent a Booktopia voucher, and I decided that I was going to dedicate that voucher to buying some special editions of books. And that includes this special edition of City of Bones by Cassandra Clare. You guys might be wondering,
G-Swizz, you already have that edition.
I might have this edition, but I don't have it in the US edition with the gold pages, with the illustrations throughout it rather than just smack bang at the front or the back. I used my voucher on it, okay? And the first edition, I didn't even use my money on. I got sent that from the publisher. And yes, as much as I'm very thankful to Walker Books Australia for sending me that copy, I do prefer this copy. I do think that the quality of it is also better. The other one looks like it's going to fall apart any minute. And I also forgot to mention that the other one that I have has a big scratch right in the middle of it, and I thought that that was completely normal for the book. And then I looked at every other edition in bookstores, and I realized it's a box cut. And I'd see other copies in stores, and I'd realized that they didn't have this Stanley knife cut across them. Technically, I have a damaged free copy, and that's cool because I received it for free, but yeah, it's damaged. So I just figured I'd get a newer one, but not just a newer one, the one with the gold edges, because I'm all about the style. And speaking about special editions, it was about time that I dedicated my purchases to special editions that I know that I need, especially before my favorite author casually comes to Australia. That, my friends, is the collector's edition of Insurgent and the collector's edition of Allegiant. I needed these in my life. I'm excited to get these signed. I feel like I'm gonna burst out into tears just thinking about this. She's coming in less than a week. Don't have the emotional capacity to handle that at the moment. So this next stack of books are all the books that I got in Melbourne. The first two at the stack I will be mentioning are books I got from the BookTube networking session at VidCon. I pretty much had to snatch them up. Every single time I see them in a bookstore, I never pick them up, and I decided I needed to do it this time. Those, my friends, are Scythe and Thunderhead by Neil Shusterman. I hear nothing but praise about this book series. I've been putting it off for a very long time. I told myself, no, I'm not interested in this book series. Literally, when I first saw the cover, like, everyone was talking about it, and I was like, nah, I'm not really big on it. And then once it released, everyone was going haywire about it. Then Thunderhead came out, and people are even more vocal about it, and I've just been questioning my existence. I just figured, look, if I'm not gonna grab these right here, right now, I'm never gonna buy them. I got them for free, so there's that. And the next book I purchased at Melbourne, I purchased for like $7. I needed this book. It is from an amazing author, and that is Haruki Murakami, and I purchased Wind Pinball. I pretty much know nothing about this except it's a collection of two stories. One being Hear the Wind Sing, and then the second one being Pinball. And it's Haruki Murakami, so that's the reason why I had to pick it up, and the cover is stunning. And the next book I picked up when I was at Melbourne was We Three Heroes by Lynette Noni. This is a novella collection in the Midorian Chronicles universe. So far, Lynette Noni has released 3 books this year, which is insane. But I'm not gonna lie, the 2 other books she published this year, I was not a big fan of. Grey Veil ended up disappointing me, and Whisper is one of my worst books of the year that I've read. It's just not good. Pretty skeptical about going into this one, especially knowing what happens in Grey Veil. Not like this is gonna be like Whisper, because I know it's not gonna be like Whisper. Whisper's completely different. But I'm personally not a big fan of what happened in Grey Veil, not because that I have an emotional attachment to a specific character, and not because it emotionally wrecked me, but because I hated a trope that happened in it. If anything, Grey Veil doesn't make me sad, it makes me angry. So does Whisper. Oh my goodness. Wow, this is so bad. This is really sad because I really do love Lynette Noni as an author, hence why I supported her and I purchased her book. Seriously, this is so weird for me to say, but I'm kind of hoping that this one doesn't disappoint me like the other ones have this year. I'm pretty sure it won't, because it's a novella collection and I do love these characters. It follows these characters. The next book I picked up in Melbourne was a new cover copy edition of Defy the Stars by Claudia Gray. Look how beautiful this cover is. I'm not a big fan of cover changes usually like mid-series, but I think that the series kind of needed a cover change, hence why we have a new cover and it is beautiful. I'm tempted to buy Defy the Worlds before I bought Defy the Stars, but I'd seen this book with this particular cover in selected bookstores because there are other bookstores that are still trying to sell out of the previous covers, and so I don't know if they want to put out the stock of this one, so that's why I barely saw it and that's why I didn't pick it up straight away. Now I have it. It is so pretty. I need to reread this book because I barely remember anything about it. The next book I picked up from Melbourne was Dreamology by Lucy Keating. I'm not gonna lie, I was eyeing this book last year when I went to Melbourne at the same bookstore I purchased it from this year, and I put it in my cart and then I put it back on the shelf because I came to the conclusion that I didn't know if I needed it or not, and then I just decided this year, you know what, I'm just gonna do it. Pretty sure that this is a romance, but it has to do with a romance in a dream. I feel like I'm even more connected to this book now that I really love Strange the Dreamer, so I guess that's kind of a big reason why I had to pick it up. And the next two books I picked up in Melbourne were Ink and Spark by Alice Broadway. I picked these books up because somebody was recommending this book series to me, and I don't remember who it was, but they said that it was very under the radar and I should pick it up, and also the covers are beautiful. That foil is just gorgeous. It was the cover and it was somebody convincing me, so I was sold. And the next book I picked up was Bright We Burn by Kirsten White. This is the third and final book in the Conqueror's saga. I have read the first book, End I Darken, and I really did like it. It was about time I read it because I'd put off that series for so long, and G-Swizzel got to it. Brownie points. Cannot wait to see where Lada is going to take us next. Third last book I got from Melbourne was Tash Hart's Tolstoy by Catherine Ornsby. I wanted to pick this up because it has asexual representation, and you guys don't know, I'm on the spectrum. So I wanted to see myself somewhat represented in fiction, and also Tash Hart's a classic writer, so I wanted to kind of like see those influences in there, and who knows, it might just get me to want to pick up Tolstoy, because I do want to pick up Tolstoy's books in the future. And another book I picked up in Melbourne was To Be Honest by Maggie Ann Martin. I wanted to pick this book up because, as you can see from the cover, we have plus-sized representation in here. I am living for it. I definitely do want to see more books with plus-sized protagonists because I feel like it is very important to hear from their perspective, and also being somebody who grew up plus size, I just kind of want more representation in general. I want to kind of like feel like I'm being identified with in a way, and so that's why I feel like books like this are very important, and I wanted to pick it up. And the final book that I picked up in Melbourne was a bind-off of one of my favorite books of all time with a bunch of separate novellas. When I saw this, I didn't think twice about it. I had to pick it up. I had to buy it. And that, my friends, is Wonder: The Complete Collection by RJ Palacio. I had no idea this existed, but I needed it because this story means so much to me. It's so funny because the last two books that I just mentioned also had to do with like some personal representation of me somehow, and this kind of does also in a way, not to a full extent, but a lot of you guys know that at one point of my life I went through Bell's palsy. That's the reason why Wonder means a lot to me, because it has to do with a kid that has to live an everyday life, you know, go to school and do other things while having a facial deformity, and being somebody who experienced that at some point of my life, it was definitely hard. And how much harder would it be for somebody who lives with a facial deformity to do the same thing? Wonder is definitely a book that is just so important to me and has a special place in my heart, and so that is why I had to buy this. So those were technically all the books that I had bought / received in these past few months that I haven't done a book haul on my channel, until my mom just walked into my room and gave me this box set. I only found out this box set existed when she called me on the phone and told me about it a few hours ago, and I wanted to include this in my haul, and she came into my room while I was filming, and she gave them to me. And that, my friends, is the Marvel Studio 10th Anniversary Edition collection. They're so beautiful! Each and every one of these books are a novelization of a Marvel movie. So we've got the novelizations of Iron Man, The Incredible Hulk, Thor, Captain America, The Avengers, Captain America Winter Soldier, Guardians of the Galaxy, Avengers Age of Ultron, Captain America Civil War, Doctor Strange, and finally Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. And hopefully they make novelizations of the rest of them because they are stunning. And if you want to see their pictures, they're right here. That's what they all look like. They're just so beautiful. I love them. I also love that they have the icons there and they have characters on the spines. They're just gorgeous. I am in love with this box set. Look at the art. The art is just, it's amazing. The last three books I have to hold today were all from Bookish subscription services. If you haven't received your Never Never book box for the month of July, or you haven't received the YA Chronicles June and July book boxes yet, I would suggest you now leave the video, as I am going to be spoiling them for you. So I guess I will start off with the YA Chronicles ones. The YA Chronicles book of the month for June was The Brightsiders by Jen Wilde. I liked this book, didn't love this book. I'm really happy I have it though, but overall it was definitely a great book box, and the cover was stunning. What more could I really ask for? And then the July book was The Art of Taxidermy by Sharon Kernot. Both books are by Australian authors. That's really cool. But this one is told in verse. I haven't read this one yet, and I wanted to get to it sometime this month. And then the Never Never favorite book pick of July was The Mermaid by Christina Henry. I have been hearing a lot about Christina Henry's books on BookTube, about how they're really dark and gritty retellings, and I thought that this was a retelling of The Little Mermaid. It might be, but apparently it also has to do with P.T. Barnum's circus. That's literally what I heard about it, I think, in someone's wrap-up the other day. That got me even more intrigued in a way. Not saying that P.T. Barnum is a great person. I mean, I love The Greatest Showman, but in real life, P.T. Barnum, not that great. Not that good whatsoever. We shouldn't celebrate P.T. Barnum. We should just celebrate Hugh Jackman because he's awesome. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. It's like a historical fiction, an alternate historical fiction in a way. I'm pretty excited to get to it, see what it's like, because I haven't read a Christina Henry book. So, I guess that's gonna be it for this video today, book lovers. Oh, okay. That took me a long time. If you want to purchase any of these books that I mentioned in this video today, all the Book Depository purchase links will be probably down in the comments this time, because the description can only really fit so many characters. So I'll put all the Book Depository purchase links in a pinned comment thread, in case there are also restrictions when it comes to how many characters that there are as well. But yeah, they're all gonna be down below, so you can check them out, you can purchase them, and you can help me out by doing so. And I also have social medias. I'm at G-Swizzelbooks on Twitter and Instagram, and I'm also Goodreads. That's www.goodreads.com/G-Swizzle. I love you, book lovers, and I will see you later. Peace.